Hi, good morning, good afternoon. Whatever in the world you are, thanks for being here. Thanks for your streaming, for participating in this teacher's interview. Okay. Andres Rodriguez and this group of teachers, we are here connected. This streaming is from Ecuador, and we are here to share with you different in teachers interview with educative content about methodologies, active methodologies, action research, and so on. There are some topics that can be very interesting and useful for you. Today, we are going to share about a topic that is called how to make interactive classes or active methodologies in your classes. So we are going to enrich our collaboration so you can write in the text, in the chat Zoom text, or you can also raise your hand to participate it actively, and we can make it more collaborative. So I don't want to spend more time. I don't want to waste more time because I'm eager to start it and see your participation. Thank you so much. All right. So I'm going to share in the screen. Give me 1 second, please. I'm going to. Yeah, Mr. Carranza, that's true. But anyway, so the most important thing is that we are uh, coming back. No, we're coming back and we're going to do our best. Okay, this is the idea. All right. Okay. Well, the streaming is about how to make classes more communicative, or sorry, how to make active methodologies in classes. No, so this topic is in collaboration with the colleagues, and they are going to give their point of view and experience too, so we can talk together in this moment. Okay, so let's get started. These are active approaches that teachers, professors send to you in order to improve you. For example, in English, okay, when we are teaching a language, so in classes, we try to explore the potentials. How can we explore our students' potential in the real classroom? Okay, so in the real classroom, we can give feedback for speaking. We can observe or do action research, for example, when students are working in groups, when they are doing a reading activity, or when they are practicing listening. So we can do the note taking. Apart from that, the rest of the time, it's a student development. So how students incorporate that routine? Well, teachers send assignments or different activities, videos, tutorials, okay, with different applications, and or assessments, okay. Can be formative assessments or summative assessments at the end. So in that way, you can have the interaction with those activities. You have classroom learning in the 70% and online learning with the rest of the time, 20% or 30%. So it depends. It is not strict rule that you have to follow 70%. Okay. So if someone else would like to make a comment, have you experienced this modality, blended learning, before? Okay, Ms. Rosario, thank you.
It's like maybe it's like distance classes. You know, you take it percentages classroom learning and the other percentages online learning.
Yes, exactly, Rosario. So the distant learning, okay, has the facility that give you all the information, but you need to be very responsible because you need time to read, to do your research. Okay, you need to make consuming time. Okay, in your research. So you need to change your mindset because we normally in the physical classroom we have different expectations from our teachers, but in blended learning is different because as student you assume the new role. The new role is not the passive role, so you need to be active, proactive. Okay, you read the information, you need to do your research, you need to study, you need to read, you need to write the blogs or the assignment that the professor sent to you, and then you go through to the assignments that are required for you in the online section. So it's a change of mindset. It's different. Statistically, the blended learning has advantages and disadvantages. It depends on the circumstances or situation. For example, the pandemic time shows that there were some minority of people that take the information, all the information. Other people took the information from blended learning, but they couldn't respond in it very well in the same way. There are many conclusions about it. Lack of internet connections, problem of connectivity, and any other reasons, social reasons, problems anyway. So those things affect too. Okay. I think I see someone raising the hand. Maybe can contribute it voluntarily. Okay. Well, so that is a fact. No, that's not my opinion. That's a fact. That statistically, there were some occurrences, situations, challenges that, especially in Ecuador, in Latin America, where people had to transform and make some changes during the time. So, for example, in the public universities or public high schools, there was yes, Julio Cesar, please, thank you.
Thank you. And we say that this way of learning depends much of our interest and our responsibility because we don't have someone else, like in a physical environment that we can ask to a teacher. But in this case, we need to do our best to research information and educate by ourselves.
It's a right point, and I congratulate you. You explain what is the purpose of learning. So, as you said, the purpose of blended learning is that, as I told you before, the student assumes a new role. So you have in your hands a big responsibility. But you are not alone, Julio Cesar, no? The role of the teacher in the blended learning is to facilitate, is a facilitator, okay? For example, you normally type emails to your instructor, okay? An instructor, you ask questions, you go ask something to him or her. Professor sends you instructions, but the professor is not all the time you because the professor needs to dedicate all the time to the rest of the student. 30 students in a class, in a Google Classroom, or 30 students that they were divided in groups. So that's why it's important that you assume your active. Okay, thank you, Julio César. Mr. Eduardo. Good morning.
I just want to add that in this important point of view in normal learning is when I have experience when I was having classes in a normal way, the teacher is always under the student. And now with this blending learning is ourselves that have to have more importance in different points. For example, if you don't have to have your homework ready, it's not it's not the way that you wanted to participate. So it's your own ideas, right?
Yes, Eduardo, thank you. There we go. So, thanks for sharing your experience, okay, with that about blended learning. Okay, so blended learning is not merely the interaction that we have in the physical classroom and the online session. Okay, for example, the experience you have is showing you that there were some drawbacks. So drawbacks means disadvantages. For example, when you need to assign something and you have time, the deadline. Now, the deadline is the time that you need to upload a document or a paper to submit something. And if you get late, I'm sorry, but it's not accepted. So you need to call to your teacher, please. Please, professor, I had a problem. I couldn't update. So there are some disadvantages either. So in that way, there are some things that we have to make changes or to adapt to the new modality.
Yeah, that's what I want to express. Thank you, Mr. Andres. Mr. Andres, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks to your contribution. Okay, so we are going to continue with the next slide in this scenario of blended learning that we are talking. Now in this moment, I'm showing you statistics. Statistics refer to what happened during the pandemic time. The pandemic time started in the 2020, and this is in the United States, no? And the source is the UNESCO, no? So what happened in that period of time? What is important, and what I'm showing you this data. As you observe, during February or March, that was considered, according to UNESCO, the pandemic time, okay, the most dangerous moments that the world were challenging those circumstances. Education turned dramatically. Okay, so what did education change dramatically? Because many professionals, college students like you, okay, demanded participating in different online spaces. Remember that during the pandemic, we stayed home and we didn't attend to universities or to workplaces or study places where we used to go. So when we stayed home, we took advantage of taking online courses that some universities offer us as part of their service. Some of them were free, totally free. Others were not totally free, and you need to pay some fees in order to get a certificate that they were printed and sent to your email. So in this statistic shows that the number from February to March increased the number of people in demanding online courses. So many people around the world, even in our country, Ecuador, and in Latin America, not only in the United States, it is a global issue that it was happening in that moment. Okay, so many people went through to the new modality that they were studying. So that is a fact. Okay, that's not a simple opinion that I am telling to you. Okay, so okay, so apart from that, we also have the online teaching pedagogy. What is the online teacher pedagogy? Okay.
Para que me den el certificado nomás. Está facturado, por si acaso está la
Okay, now, I think that we could mute, okay, in order to avoid distractions, okay? All right, thank you. Anyway, online online teaching pedagogy, okay, is the pedagogy that is referring to the technology or the technological devices or applications that explain how the technology is implemented in the online sessions, in the different areas that are covered in the in the online teaching. For example, the use of the platforms like Google Meet, Zoom, okay, how to use Zoom, okay. They were training for teachers and students that they are constantly and permanently adapt. So the new change of modality was different for everybody, not only for the students and for teachers too, because teachers during the during the last time we were following specific or traditional approaches that we feel that they were ensured for the time, but nobody expected that things transform, change after the pandemic or during the pandemic time. So the online teaching pedagogy is very important. So many professionals in education need to currently study or major this online teaching. Yes, Eduardo, please. Eduardo, do you have any question?
I just want to know what is the difference between what you were saying, because I get lost. Sorry.
Okay, so the last thing that I was mentioning you on is about the online teaching pedagogy. That the online teaching pedagogy is designed to study or to enhance educational purposes with technological devices. Now, using platforms, technological devices for educative purposes. For example, YouTube. Okay, YouTube is not only for watching videos. No, YouTube is only for using for educative purposes. For example, you can use tutorials, conversation videos for native speakers if you want to improve your speaking. You
Es el pato, man, pato borracho.
Mindset of becoming more accurate to the information, to data, and prepare themselves. No, and the teacher assign roles, support students. For example, um, let's suppose that you have to present something, a new topic in the class with a project, but the information that you obtain, the data that you obtain, is not from a scientific, is not scientifically proved. Maybe you go to Google and you just type in the Google, but the online space is not scientifically proved, and you just find out and copy and paste information. But your teacher demonstrate and show you that that's not scientifically proven correct. So you just need to go to online spaces for libraries, or you have to go to a Scholar Google, or you just need to go to a specific websites, for example, Cambridge, Oxford, and you obtain that data. All right. So that is the purpose of the teacher, to guide you, to be supportive with you. Okay. So let's continue with the next slide. Okay, I'm going to pass these ones because they are theoretical. This is theory in this part. The theory is very important, but I'm going to be very brief in this part. Okay, so um, I'm not, I'm not sure if you have seen the learning theory. So the learning theories are the studies or the approaches that some scientists or professors studied before, and they applied in their classrooms, and they obtained through the active research information, data, qualitative data, quantitative data, for improving the education. Okay, this is purely research. Okay, this is pure research. Okay, and those are the methods that we can use for learning theories in classes, virtual classes. I will give you some simple examples. If you want to simple make repetitions in classes that your students practice for beginners, that they practice spelling, or they just have input with words with the pronunciation, you can use the behaviorism. No? In Spanish is conductismo, la repetición, ¿verdad? The behaviorism. This is for lectures when you are only passive and the with the volume in this moment. Yeah, I was absolutely sorry about the volume. I don't know if you can hear because I present the video with the topic how active methodologies can be applied in the classroom. Okay, at the beginning, I told you that Mr. Aldo Gonzalez can be here. Okay, because he was a little bit sick. All right, so that's the reason why I'm sharing with you this topic about active methodology. Someone of you, some of you, will tell me in your classes if you have applied active methodologies and what are the results. So if you observe positive results in your students' academic, or they learn better when you applied it, okay, from your experience, how well can we use these active methodologies? Okay, so, well, in my experience, I applied it many times, active methodologies, and I could see the students' progress in my case. But I would like to know, how about you? Do you agree with that? Did you see some results with the students? Okay. Danny, Johnny, any of you, if you would like to comment something, okay, we can go ahead. I have to share the next session of the video, okay, that we are watching that streaming about active methodologies. The teacher talks, okay? So this is behaviorism, because the role of the student is passive. On the other hand, we have cognitivism. The cognitivism is when you have to reflect. You need to think. You becoming meta learner. Do you remember the word meta learner? No, meta learning is when you're reflecting, you're critical thinking, and the methods used for this are lectures, visual tools, mind maps, mapas conceptuales, no? Charts to facilitate memorization for learning, multiple choice, and essay assessments. Okay. When we mention the word memorization, okay, sometimes the word memorization is contradictory applied, because many people disbelieve that they are used for behaviorism, but that's not the correct form, because the memorization is one of the basic cognitive skills that are helpful for you to retain information, and you use for developing the rest of the reflective skills. So memorization is very important. Okay. Apart from that, or in addition, we have for the constructivism. The constructivism is according to different authors, for example, the social constructivism, when the learners build a personal experience, when they become active in their own learning, in the construction of building their own learning, when they discover things, when the professors use methodologies to improve what they learned before. So by collaborative group work, scaffolding, self-guided learning based on personal experience, and peer grading review. Okay, so as you see, a combination of collaborative peer work and also individual activities, but they are guided by the professor. The professor is a facilitator. Okay. In our schools, we traditionally observe that teachers in different public schools or any others academies, well, use the resources that they have. Okay, they can facilitate if they have the resources. When they don't, when as educators, when we don't have enough resources, we do our best and we try to help our students with different, or we invent or create relaya. We create, for example, charts, or we use this when we don't have real world artifacts or things to present. Relaya, no? So real authentic materials, no, in classes, no, for speaking or for reading, no, magazines, videos, etc. No, so we need to create or be adaptive to the new modality. So the change of mindset from traditional approaches to blended learning or online sessions or any kind of hybrid modality is a little challenging, but it requires a lot of perseverance and constancy of the students, no? Because we are responsible of our own learning. Okay, so at the university, when we have to read documents, online documents, it requires time, it requires effort, and it demands a routine that we need to that we need to take in some circumstances. So that's why it's important to adapt to this new modality. No, in this moment, I prefer stopping, and I would like to hear you. Okay, to hear your comments or any ideas that you have from this part. No. Yes, Mr. Julio Cesar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As a summarizing, we can say that the future teachers, we need to learn about all these kind of methods, and at the same time be ready to be creative in order to help our future students, because we don't know if we're going to have the chance to work in a school or college where they have facilities. But in the other case, maybe we don't have that opportunity. And because of that, we need to learn, as I said before, these methods and be creative.
Absolutely combines with the words that you are saying, and that's true. So we teachers are always updating our knowledge. So in this new modality, as I told you, is a just change of mindset. So we need to transform the things that we learned behind in the past. We need to change with the things that are new for us, new concepts, new ideas, new methodologies. Especially we as educators, our principles and our the things that we define us as educators, we need to transform, because this new modality makes us to take the best of us, not only the students, the professors too, the educators too, because professors need to be updated in order to guide the students. Thank you, Julio Cesar. Somebody else would like to intervene or participate voluntarily? Okay, yeah. So, well, in this part, the most important, dear audience, is that you have very clear the idea of what is online teaching, hybrid education, and how well the teachers take the best from the students in these new modalities in order to get the best, the potentials in the different skills. No, so the hybrid modality, for example, combines both. No, combines some sessions of attending presential classes, the recordings, and also online sessions where students have to make their formative assessments, and they continue updating more information. So the combination of both hybrid methods incorporates the students' different mindsets and different routines, and that's what we have to know more about it. Okay. Okay, I'm going to continue with another slide. Well, this is practical. So this part is the result of experimentals or group control practices with a research purpose. Okay, that I have made during pandemic and also post-pandemic time. For example, in an English class, you observe this class is hybrid, or it can be using online sessions. You don't see the online sessions, but in that moment, we are experimenting with the students who are facing in the real class, and the other group of students are facing in the online sessions. Results are different, but the methodology is the same. It's communicative. For example, students can practice speaking, okay, using WhatsApp, using Zoom or Google Meet, and the other rest of the class, they participated actively in the session. So we incorporate both things. No, we incorporate uh, for students who were attending the experimental group and the other group that were in the online sessions. And as a result of that, we had different information. Obviously, the students who were permanently coming to class in that week, they had better results from the others. But when we made a change, the students who were participating in the online session and then went through to uh, the real class, they improve their knowledge, they improve their practice. So we take better the potentials in the class, no, and that is through the methodology, the communicative methodology that we are using. Furthermore, we can use cooperative learning in virtual classes. Okay, for example, do you remember the speaking? So we can also use writing when we create Google Docs for students who are not presenting in class, who are not attending to class. We can do it hybrid at the same time, similarly as the ones that they are doing in a presential class. So we can use a diverse tools for resources in real classes. Okay, this is the same. Well, this is for listening to. For writing, okay, for writing, one of my favorite, one of the most useful, and well, personally, I believe that is one of my favorite because I usually work with the Google Docs, and I use an application that is Grammarly. Have you ever heard Grammarly? Grammarly contains a free part, and you can also pay fees for that. No? So if you want to pay for that, you will have more benefits, obviously. So what is Grammarly? Or if you have any other application to check grammar, to check vocabulary, spelling, you can incorporate what your students are writing on streaming at this online when they are doing. And you don't waste too much time. You don't have to spend much time in checking or grading your students. Grammarly do it for you, and it reduces your time consuming. So I think it's a benefit when you work in online sessions. Okay, here we have more examples. For speaking, when you have large group of students, more than 20, okay, you can practice one by one, and you can create breakout rooms, and you can monitor your students. Now, something that is recommendable for teachers is that don't correct or don't overcorrect. Don't overcorrect means that don't correct all the time. Okay, you just listen, pay attention to your students' mistakes, take notes. Okay, for example, observe what your students' mistakes. For example, if they mispronounce, or they don't use correct grammar, or they have lack of vocabulary, or any other issue. You just take notes of those problems in order to make an effective feedback. Okay, so what is a feedback? Any of you have experience with feedback? What is a feedback?
Feedback is something that it helps to the other people to understand what it's a topic about.
Thank you, Eduardo. Yeah, exactly. That is a feedback. The feedback is when at the end of an activity, the professor, when you receive, okay, what you improve, what you have done well, and what you need to improve, okay? Yes, Ashley, very good. It's like an advice. Okay, yeah. It's like an advice, but also is the reality, what is happening to you in that moment. Okay, it's like a medical prescription. What the doctor says, okay, you have this, you need this, you have to improve this, exactly. No, and we incorporate. We need to be a little bit friendly when we give feedback. No, not to make too personal. Okay, so it's recommendable for teachers that when we give feedback, don't make it personal to the students. Be more focus on the activity rather than the person in order uh, to avoid confusions or things that the students feel bad. No, so we need to be very professional when we give effective feedback. No, as Ashley said, is a kind of advice. As Eduardo said, it's very important for the information that you are constantly doing. Okay. Something that I want to share with you is okay. Here we have more activities. Okay, related to formative or summative assessment or control activities. This is for grammar or speaking when you apply in your classroom. This is word wall. Okay, this is Um, okay, sorry, dear teachers. The video is advancing, is going ahead, but I stop now because it's a little bit long. No, I don't want to make it more boring, because the idea is that we interact. No, I can see some friends, Mr. Mario, Danny. Okay, Mr. Renato, thanks for being here, Miss Yvonne. Okay, so teachers, the interview was canceled right now because Mr. Aldo was a little bit sick. Instead, I replaced it and I post a video. The recording was about how to make more active methodologies in class. As you can see in the video, okay, I was explaining different approaches online, face-to-face, and the active methodologies require that students move forward, no? From passive to active. Teacher's role is more normally the teacher normally explains the classes, is a facilitator, but here in this role, the teachers contributes, helps, but the students is the protagonist, is the ones who intervenes more. No, so in your experience, have you ever practiced this approach, or have you done active methodologies in your classes? Please, can you share your ideas with us? I read something interesting in the chat. What about is a feedback? No, the feedback is to reinforce, to improve. Exactly. It's not only grading, it's not only marking. Okay, the students needs to is good or bad or things like that. No, it's more for improvement. So, well, so that's the idea of the feedback. No. All right. So do you have any comments about these topics, or any teacher's experience that you have faced in classes with your students? All right. Well, so dear audience, dear teachers, this topic about active methodologies, okay, contains a lot of information that you can find it. All right. And something that I want to share with you is something. Let me find out in my staff. We webinars organize the World Language Academy offers free webinars. Okay, and it contain information about different topics. Okay, Andres Rodriguez English Coach, that's the name of our webinar topic, where you can find all the videos, the streamings that contain education methodologies for English classes for English teachers. So you can find us in YouTube. All right, and we and we are so happy to share with you our experience. Don't wait, don't miss the next webinars that we are going to share with us, and we are going to do it during this year. So I hope you have a very good time. I hope to see you for the next webinar. Tomorrow we have Miss Claudia from Peru, and she's an expert in methodology. So hope to see you. I will share the link for the next webinar. Hope to see you, teachers. Thanks for being here.
Day by day and night by night, I'm sitting by the phone.